Many thanks for joining us here on India Today, Dr. Abdullah. Very important meetings with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, National Security Advisor Doval, and External Affairs Minister Jaishankar. There are a lot of areas that India also might have wanted covered when it comes to your talks with the Taliban. What are the areas that India really was interested in? Were there concerns that India raised, and what are those concerns?
First of all, throughout those meetings, what was the spirit which was prevailing was the spirit of continued support for the people of Afghanistan and for the decision made by the people of Afghanistan, and to whatever solution that the people is acceptable for the people of Afghanistan, supporting that. That was the spirit of the talks that we had. There is no doubt insecurity, instability in Afghanistan has had its impact in the past as well on the whole region, including India. And stable Afghanistan will also be an opportunity for everybody. So it was under that spirit that shared my own views about the current situation, the prospects, the hurdles on the way, the impasses, the hopes of the people of Afghanistan, in all of that. And in fact, India's position, Afghan-led, Afghan-owned and Afghan-controlled negotiations, that's something that is exactly what we want. And we have endorsed the people of Afghanistan already. And on that basis, we discussed how every country could contribute, and India participated in the inauguration of the negotiations. India will be participating in other forums when it is for the support of the peace or peaceful settlement in Afghanistan. And it was under that context that we talked.
But one important aspect of the Afghan society today is women's rights. The role women have started playing in Afghanistan. 27% of your parliament consists of women. There are a lot of them who work while respecting and embracing their religion, have shunned maybe the veil system, which is something that the Taliban absolutely would not agree on. Where do women's rights then stand, in your opinion, when you negotiate with the Taliban? Because that's a concern that India has raised.
And that's the concern also that the people of Afghanistan are raising. The women of Afghanistan and men in Afghanistan. It's the women's rights is part of our constitution, but perhaps equally important, it's the achievement as a result of a lot of sacrifices from the people of Afghanistan. And so are the certain other liberties, like freedom of speech. 40 years back, I remember what sort of Afghanistan it was when things just started with the coup d'etats. The newscaster which announced the arrest of some of the members of that coup d'etat, next day disappeared, and we didn't hear it since then about him, which was one famous person with a good voice, and then disappeared because only his job was he was working in national radio, and then made the announcement which was given to him, and then he lost his life because of that. That situation has changed and evolved, and everybody should accept that there are certain changes, especially in the past 20 years, which are not reversible. That's what I mentioned earlier, that with different ideas, different opinions, different outlook of the world, how can we live together in peace? And at the same time, it should be a fair playing ground for everybody to contest for their ideas. And let the people decide.
Is that a red line for your government, that you will not allow Taliban to cross?
I'm overseeing the negotiations there, and red line for us is the never-ending war in continuation of the agony of the people in the nation, which too many men and women suffer, will continue to suffer based on that. At the same time, the sacrifices that the people of Afghanistan have made, the achievement that they have, if anybody want to reverse it, it just will not happen. Right. It could not happen. And peace will not materialize by discriminating against half of the population. It doesn't mean peace. So our values, our principles are very clear.
Would that also mean ridding assurances from Pakistan of ridding their country of these terror elements?
As I mentioned, it was based on our bilateral relations, issues that countries have between themselves. They will raise it. They will raise it with one another. And as a whole, terrorist groups do not serve any country's legitimate interest. That's if there is one lesson in the past 40 years on top of what I mentioned earlier, that's my firm belief.